Evening all, hope everybody's keeping well. Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. Ange Postecoglou, the angriest he's ever been. All he says is that on another day, on a fair and an even playing ground, we would have won that game. Simple as that. And don't keep asking me about this decision. If you guys have an opinion about it, that's fine. I know what my opinion is. He then went on to say, considering everything we have to go through and the situation we're in right now, to put in a performance like that, I have to take my hats off to the players. I thought they were outstanding. I'm just really, really angry, as angry as I've ever been, that they were denied the right rewards for a fantastic performance. Fantastic performance. For me, a fantastic performance is when you win the game. Yeah, it's when you win the game. It's not when you lose. That's not a fantastic performance, is it? Guys, look, let's get into it. Let's run over the lineups of the day. Obviously, there's a lot of questions of who's going to start, the sickness bug, injuries, all of that. So this is what we saw today against Newcastle this afternoon. We started with Austin in goal. Forrester was sick, unwell, couldn't play. Spence started as a left back. Gray, Radu, centre backs. Porro right back. And then we had quite a young midfield there. Midfield two pairing of Sarr and Bergvall. Timo Werner on the left. Solanke up top and Brendan Johnson on the right and Kulu behind Solanke. Newcastle started off with De Bradford in goal. Livramento, Botman came back, returning into the Newcastle side. Dan Burn was at the back. Lewis Hall. Then they had a midfield three of Gomes, Tonali, Joe Linton, and up front they had Gordon, Isaac, and Murphy. So the game did start off at a frantic pace. We did score first on 6 minutes, I think it was. Let me double check. Around 6 minutes, no, 4 minutes it was, and it was a really, really good cross from Porro. Yeah, I need to see more of that. And Solanke, he did well against. I think it was Botman in the box there, and he changed his run and he's done a sweeping header in 1-0. Great start to the match. Yeah, really, really great start. But that goal didn't keep us in the league long. Newcastle came back on, I'll tell you, on 6 minutes. So we held the lead for 2 minutes. We were trying to play the ball out from the back as we do. The ball fell to Bergvall. He was trying to play it out to the right, but it deflected off Joe Linton's arm. A bit of luck there for Newcastle into the pass of Gomes, and who fed Gordon, and Gordon with a great finish. 1-1. The game was frantic for a while, back and forth. Not really anybody really taking control of the match. But then after that frantic 20-minute spell, I thought Newcastle then started to play. They started to take control of the game, which I thought they would with that quality midfield. And they overrun our midfield, didn't they? And especially with Sarr there and Bergvall, we got overrun. And they started to dictate that first half, moving the ball left to right, getting it into their fullbacks, overlapping fullbacks with the wingers and creating chances. They were looking dangerous. And then we saw the goal from Isaac, which came on 38 minutes. So it was Murphy who got free on the right. Spence was ball watching a bit, put a great ball into the box. Radu tried to cut it out, but it would have been an own goal if it wasn't for Isaac there, who just touched the ball in and took the goal. 2-1. What proceeded for that rest of that first half was Newcastle domination. We were really struggling, and I thought they could have scored again. We needed to get in at half time, and we certainly did, and it was only 2-1, which I thought, not too bad, especially with that lineup we had. We started the game fast, but Newcastle as soon as they started passing it about, getting their playmakers on the ball, we were really struggling there. We really were. But it was 2-1 at half time, and you thought, okay, let's see what Ange does at half time, and if he makes any changes, any tactical adjustments, things like that. So what we saw in that second half is that we actually dominated the ball, and we really did push to try and get that equaliser. And yeah, I thought we were playing well, but not really creating anything clear cut against Newcastle. There were some close chances. I think Johnson hit the post. There was a scramble around the box. The ball, I think, went out to right. I think it was a Johnson shot went wide, and then someone else shot from the other side. I think it might have been Reguilon, but it's completely off aim and off target. The commentator said, "Well, how did that not go in?" Well, it did not go in because they were just rash shots fired across the box. I mean, we could have got lucky. It could have come off a Newcastle defender, but it just didn't. And we missed the opportunity. Maddison came on as well later on in that second half. He came on. There was a triple substitution. Basuma came on, Maddison and Son. And I don't know if these guys were suffering from this sickness bug, but they were introduced. And you're thinking, well, we're dominating now. And look, there's a great chance to get back in this game. Newcastle looked like they changed their game plan. They were sitting back, keeping tight, midfield in front of the defence, defending deep, and looking to play us on the counter attack. They kind of squandered possession. I think they did. That's what I've heard from other people and what I saw of the game. They just let us come onto them, but we were struggling to really create clear-cut chances in that second half. Probably a bit similar to the away game against Newcastle. And we just could not break that Newcastle team down. We huffed and puffed as we do, trying to score, but just never really saw us scoring. So look, and the game ended 2-1 and another defeat. Look, many will put it down to injuries at the back. That beginning of that second half, I think they took off Radu. I heard after the game that he was suffering from that buck and he just didn't have anything more to give. They put Spence as a centre back. They put Reguilon as left back. And that was a bit of a crazy centre back pairing there. I don't know why Dorrington wasn't introduced. He's a centre back. Surely that would have been the sensible decision to play him. But we didn't get trouble too much from Newcastle in that second half. Fortunately, they didn't have many chances. It was all of us dominating the ball, trying to push for that equaliser, which never came. Look, guys, I just think it's it's just Ange is failing to get the most out of this team. I mean, Solanke, he did score a good goal, but what else really did he do in that second half? He had a couple of headers late on, failed to put them away. Yes, he worked hard again. He held the ball up. He was pressing well. But again, just didn't do enough. Johnson offered very little at all. Werner offered nothing, but there's nothing new there. Old Son came on, but failed to really open up the Newcastle side. Kulusevski, he just ran and ran and ran as he does. Lots of running, but really not managing to break down a stubborn Newcastle defence. I think the goalie Austin played well. He commanded his box well. And Porro, I thought, put on some really good crosses today. Unfortunately, none of our players could get on the end of them other than that first goal. And Newcastle were really dominant in the box with crosses coming in. They were heading them out, getting bodies behind shots or anything going in their box. So you can see why they're, just defensively over the last maybe month and a half that they've only conceded a couple of goals. Really, really defended well. I think Bergveld improved in that second half before he was subbed off. Probably the best we've seen from him. It was just a lot of huff and puff, wasn't it, throughout the game? illnesses or no illness, it doesn't really matter, really, does it? It's another defeat. I guess the positive thing is that we didn't get smashed. Um, on reflection of the game, I don't think we deserved to lose it. I think, but we didn't deserve to win either. We didn't do enough. Um, Newcastle are in a great run. I think that was 6 wins out of 6 now in the Premier League in the first time under Howe. Yes, they got a bit fortunate with that first goal. It could have been blown up for a handball, but it didn't. But then you could say, look, we had the whole of the rest of the game to get something out of it. So decisions don't go for you in games. That's normal. That happens in football. And we failed to really open up Newcastle and create those clear-cut chances. We tried. The team worked hard. You can't say that they didn't try. They did. They were pushing. The crowd were getting behind the team, trying to push them on to get this equaliser. It was really real desperation, wasn't it? You can see the fan base; they're just really struggling for anything, any kind of positivity. And I guess they saw the team working hard as they'd done. They worked hard against Wolves, but we came across a very organised team today in Newcastle who really outplayed us at certain times, especially in that first half. And they dug in. Many teams do when they come against Spurs. You've watched stuff so many times throughout the season when we've come against organised defences. Even lower end teams have managed to kind of keep us out as well, playing a kind of deeper block, low block, whatever you want to call it. We do really struggle. I put that down, a lot of that down to our inverted fullbacks. I put that down to our wingers who are not one-on-one specialists who really struggle to take on their fullback. And you could see some of the play from Newcastle in that first half where the fullbacks were overlapping and they were getting success against us. It just looked so dangerous, and you had Isaac in the box waiting to poach. I mean, I remember a good chance he had in the first half as well. It was a fantastic cross. I think it was Livramento put it in, and Isaac got on the end of it, but just put it wide. And they were just the way their midfield works. It's a very good balance in that midfield. Newcastle have workman-like. They all work hard. They're all good on the ball. It's they're doing really well. And Newcastle did start off the season slow for whatever reason, but Howe, he's a good coach, and he has managed to get his team right up in the mix now in that top four, really pushing, going into a big game against Arsenal. Is it? I think it's isn't it Arsenal in the cup? Yeah, Arsenal in the cup on Tuesday. Massive game for them, and they'll be trying to get into that final of the Carabao Cup. Good chance, they're in good form. Going to be a hard team to beat over 2 legs. I just think, I mean, when I think of Spurs and I think of Newcastle, they've got some really good players, but they work as a team. They're well coached. I mean, there's no reason why Spurs can't be like Newcastle. Yes, they had a bit of investment when the new owners came in. They signed some good players. Just some, they're not all signed all stars. It's signed players with potential, or good players that they've brought in. And there's no reason why Spurs can't do that. And if Spurs had a good coach, I saw from our team today that we can play it. There was flashes of good football. We've seen it throughout the season that we have got good players, but Ange's system, it just doesn't get the most out of this set of players. That's in my opinion and many others. And just Ange's system, it just does not work consistently in the Premier League. Yes, there's certain games where we do win well, but normally against teams off form. So look, let's get into the form guide, guys. Let's get into the form guide. It's not looking good. I saw something today where if we're looking at the table, we're 17th in the form guide in the last 10 fixtures, plus 1 goal difference, 8 points. Man City are also on 8 points as well. Southampton, Leicester. So we are in relegation form, and we are dropping down that table. It is not good. and the slide continues, I'm afraid, guys. It continues to come from bad to worse. Another defeat today, which I wasn't surprised about. Don't get me wrong, I thought we would lose, and I thought we would get well beaten, and we didn't. So that is something. At least we didn't get smashed, but it's really little. Anything you lost is a loss at the end of the day, isn't it? Another defeat. So there's no wins at home in the league in 6. If I have a look at the league table and see where we are, let's get the league table up. Bear with us 1 second. I think we're something like 12. Let's get that league table up. We really are dropping off that those European places now, as we're exactly in the halfway point now. Exactly. It's like 20 games played. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we've played 20 games, 7 wins, 3 draws, 10 defeats, 42 goals scored, 30 conceded, plus 12 goal difference, 24 points. West Ham lost today. They're on 23 points. Man United playing Liverpool tomorrow, 22 points. So yeah, if I don't think Man United will get anything against Liverpool. So yeah, we're going to stay around that 12th place. Brentford got a good win today away to Southampton. They're now 3 points above us. Brighton did they're playing right now while I'm doing this video, so I'm not too sure how they're getting on. Fulham got a win today. Villa got a win today. Bournemouth got a win today. Man City won, and we're from a European Conference League spot, which is probably 7th or 8th. We're looking at 8th place Villa on 32. So we're what's that now? 32, 8 points. 8 points from that position. Yeah, Europa League, even further away. It's what's that? 11 points from the Europa League position. Yeah, look, it's not good. It is not good. It's another defeat. I mean, I was talking yesterday that looking at kind of what games we can win in the league coming up, and it wasn't till the end of the month when we've got Leicester at home, which is a winnable game. That could be 2 months, guys, since that away win to Southampton at the beginning of December without a victory. Now I know, Ange there's not any urgent news or anything concrete that he's going to lose the job, but surely he can't go on in the job with these amount of defeats. Couple of cup games coming up. This is just it's the worst we've been for a long time. How we're performing in that league, and it is getting so frustrating having to come on and talk about how bad we are week after week. No wins at home in 6 now, as I said, and for me, I'm just fed up with saying it, to be honest, guys. They need to make a change sooner rather than later. They need to bring a sensible manager in who can set up this team to get us results and give us some hope. I just can't see where this team is going under Ange. There's talk that we're bringing in a goalie. I've never heard of him. He's close to signing for around 15 million euros. Maybe there will be a couple players coming in, but it's just not going to be enough, and it's not working under Ange. I just don't know what else to say, guys. We've got Liverpool coming up on Wednesday in the cup. We've got suspensions. We're not going to have any players back who are injured, and it's going to be a tough game. Whatever team Liverpool play, I'm sure they will rest a few. And it's where do we go from here? What do we actually say? There's nothing really much we can say. Looking at the reaction on social media, that the fans were I'm not going to have a go at the team today. They put in a shift, all the injuries and the sickness bug, and at least we had a go. Whoopie doo, whoopie doo. Another defeat. It's not good enough. Ange must go, and good night.